Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevate the Soul Mastery course of Inner Peace and Healing. Reach your peak. Yay. We're going to be covering the last section of the Empath series. And for today's topic, I'm going to be covering empaths, parenting, and raising sensitive children. I'm going to be touching up a little bit on empaths and work, and how to embrace our gift being an empath, and hopefully going to be doing a recap at the very end. So before I continue, does anyone have any questions with any of the materials that we've covered up until now? Is everyone at least all caught up with everything? Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes.
I was gonna say, I'm all caught up.
I think I am too.
Okay, good. I know a lot of people are very far behind. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties on the back end of the website regarding these student portals. Hopefully I'll be able to get a lot of those issues resolved by tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start our chapter, which is empaths, parenting, and raising sensitive children. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, now being a parent and also being an empathic parent, it's one of the most demanding roles that we have, because not only do we got to take care of our kids, we got to take care of our own emotional, mental, psychological well-being more than the average Joe, like we mentioned. Now, raising children that are empaths is one of the greatest gifts. Now, even if your child isn't an empath, a child in general, is an amazing gift. When your child is sensitive to their environments, to external energies, to people, they are just like us. They have very, their perceptions are very heightened. And not only that, our bond with our empathic children is a lot stronger. Now, one of the things, before I'm going to go into the meditation technique, I want to cover, let me just go ahead and find it, raising sensitive children. Here we go. I'm going to go over a quick self-assessment if your child is an empath. And you can actually detect these things from a very early age, because a lot of these, I guess you could say, symptoms are sensory. So let's take out paper and pen, because I'm going to be going over the questions, and you guys are going to write yeses or nos, and then we're going to go ahead and tally up those scores. So please let me know as soon as you're ready with a paper and a pen or a pencil.
I'm good. Rock and roll.
Awesome.
I'm ready.
Okay. Who else is ready with a paper and a pencil? I have 1 second. Give me 1 sec. All right, my apologies. Okay, so I'm gonna just assume that everybody's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay, so the first question, if is your child an empath? Does your child feel things deeply? Second question. Do people, crowds, noise, or stress overstimulate your child? Meaning like, even if it's a baby or a toddler, do they get like super cranky or irritated, agitated when they're around a lot of people or a lot of loud noise? Number 3, does your child have strong reactions to sad or frightening scenes in books or movies? Number 4, does your child want to escape and hide from family gatherings because there's too much going on? Number 5, does your child feel different from other kids or complain about not fitting in? Number 6, is your child a good listener and compassionate? Number 7, does your child surprise you with intuitive comments about others or himself or yourself? Number 8, does your child have a strong connection to nature, to plants, to animals, or even stuffed animals? Number 9, does your child require a lot of time alone rather than playing with other kids? It can also be vice versa. Does your child require a lot of time with you rather than being alone? Number 10, does your child take on a friend's stress or upset or their emotional distress? Number 11, does your child take on your own or other people's emotions or stress and act out when you're angry, upset, or depressed? And the last question is, does your child have one best friend or a few good friends rather than a large social network?
Becca,
Yeah,
can you repeat question 1,
yeah.
please?
Question number 1 is, does your child feel things deeply? Now here's how to score this assessment. 0 yeses indicate a child who is not an empath. 1 to 3 yeses indicate some empath traits. 4 to 7 indicate moderate. 6 to 8 yeses indicate strong. empath traits. 9 to 12 yeses indicate a child with extremely strong empath traits. So go ahead and tally up your yeses.
Well, I'm not surprised here at all. No. I mean, he's not here. And if he was, I probably would have had like all yeses. But based on what I saw, he's extremely empathic, but that's no surprise because he's also labeled high functioning autistic. So that plays a role. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not surprised being that I'm a full blown empath. So I'm not surprised. Just wanted to share.
Bina, I would like to know how you scored with your kids.
Sorry, I can't ever use my phone. Technical here. Yeah,
What was
so I was
the
trying to
interview?
just, I was saying I have a hard time using my phone, so that's why if I don't start whatever, I don't know, I'm not technically savvy. Anyway, I was trying to score 2 kids because the other 2 are too small. I can't really tell anything about them. They're just wild. But I think that they're just moderate. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to gauge because the part with like dealing with other kids, I mean, my kids are very, very social, but we, again, since we live very isolated, they don't really interact. So they don't have friends. They don't, you know, and then when they do, it's always a good time. You know, they never really have that like that time where they're angry or frustrated or something. So it's hard to gauge like if they could do those things with feelings. I don't know. So those, I couldn't really answer them. So I would say they're leaning more towards like one, I think is a stronger one, and the other one is moderate.
Okay.
Just how they tend to like be sensitive to like situations and stuff. So very interesting.
Yeah, it actually very is. And I think it's actually a wonderful assessment, you know, to do, especially for, you know, us that, you know, that have kids. Because the moment when we understand, you know, if they're a strong empath or moderate or not at all, or, you know, whatever, we know that they require a different type of approach than, you know, other kids. And I remember when I was, you know, when I first read this book a couple of years ago, I think I read it before my daughter was born. And then I read it again afterwards. And both of my kids are like, they got 9 to 12 yeses. And with one of the tips, you know, that they're giving, you know, for parents, how to deal with their kids, it has really helped their development and their self-esteem. So when we catch this at an early age and we know and we learn and then we do things differently, especially when the kids are younger, it kind of like reshapes their mental and emotional future. You know, because we're right now learning the tools how to deal with our own empathic abilities. And now that we know that our kids have these same empathic abilities, we have the tools to pass on to them so they can deal with their empathic abilities once they become adults. And so forth and so on. They'll know what to avoid, what not to avoid. They see the red flags and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Who else would like to share, or if they want to share?
So I can tell you like this, I have a big family, and we were a very, I say this jokingly, we were quite the musical family when everybody was home. We were almost not quite 12 people. And, you know, in a normal sized house, we weren't blessed to have, a gazillion bedrooms. So we had, what we had, and we had this many kids. All the rooms that could have beds had beds. And Baruch Hashem, everybody had, but I had two that I was absolutely positive were highly empathic, and I knew before they were a year old. There were two others that it didn't occur to me until they were about 4, 6, when I saw how they were acting around other kids. Then it dawned on me. So that's 4 of the 9. And then there's one, I haven't decided. But it's, like it's been in the back of like, she is, she isn't, she is, she isn't. So that would be 5 of the 9. But there's a but. My husband was more empathic than I was. So I'm shocked that they're not all, to be perfectly honest.
Right, I hear you. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to go on to, since I know a couple of us over here, Baruch Hashem, have like little kids or, a little bit of grown-up kids. I believe that these strategies apply in general, at least most of them, to empathic people, period. So in this book, it goes 12 action steps for parents to achieve balance and reduce sensory overload. And these are things that we also teach our kids, by the way. So the first of the 12 steps is start the day with gratefulness affirmation. It sets a positive and uplifting tone to the day instead of feeling anxious and starting off with endless to-do lists. Being grateful. And I find this amazing because what do we start our day with? Moreani. First of all, we're being thankful. We say thank you, Hashem, for absolutely everything that he's given us, especially giving us our soul back. All we do is that we say thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you, the Birkot HaShachar. So starting the day with gratefulness and affirmation. There is a spiritual connection with empaths and appreciation. And I find this very unique. I also find that empaths have a higher tendency to be a lot more spiritual than the average. Like you will see a religious person who's not, an empath. He would, daven, do things, whatever. They do that out of, habit, out of routine, because they have to. But empaths, we find the connection with the davening. We find the deeper root of the connection between us and Hashem. So with the first one, we start the day with gratefulness affirmation. I really love that because it's literally who we are. We appreciate on so many levels. And I just found it awesome how, what we practice as Jews, what's in our prayer books, it's in this book, but just different wording. The second step is remembering to breathe. Rushing or anxiety or having a stressful day or getting things, more than one thing done at a time, we hold our breath, so to speak, because we need to get things done. Now, when we hold our breath, whether if it's with, an anxiety trip that's going on, or extreme situations, like trying to figure out, like we're in a temporary fight or flight mode and we like hold our breath, we're blocking oxygen that goes to our brain. And because our brains are sensitive enough as it is, it causes further damage. So when you're feeling overstressed, overwhelmed, full of anxiety, or you feel like everything is coming at you all at once and you're about to, freak, do your best to stop for a second and just breathe. It's very important for us to breathe through the storm. This breathing keeps us grounded. The third step, we have to create alone time for ourselves. Remember, we spoke about this in the beginning of the course. Remember the self-care? It is so crucial, not just for individuals, but even more so individuals that are highly sensitive. We need that alone time. We need that bond within ourselves. If we don't have that bond within ourselves, we start losing our identity. Now, creating alone time, it could literally be whatever it is that makes you happy for whatever amount of time it is that you have. For some people, 5 minutes is enough. They can go hide in their closet and just tune everything out for 5 minutes and, they're good. That's not the case with most of us here. I know with my alone time, I am literally in my backyard. I'm not in my house. I zone out. Sometimes I even take my chair to where the rocks are and I just look up and I enjoy the stars, or I enjoy literally the beauty of the night, seeing the moon, or, just not paying attention to whatever is here, just focusing either up to the sky or, whatever it is that I'm looking at. I'm not even on my phone when I have alone time. I'm literally with myself. So it'll be good if you guys can come up with ideas. Maybe you guys can help one another what your alone time looks like, and how long you sit in your alone time, what is it that you do during your alone time that helps you recenter yourself. It's also a very good thing where your kids see that you have your alone time, because you teach them that constant enmeshment is not healthy. Tip number 4. In the book, it says, listen to soothing music. I think it should be listening to music, period. Whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever it is that gets you in the self-care zone. For some people, it could be soothing. Some people, it could be more modern music. For me, it's more EDM. So if you like soothing music, then that's the route for you. If you like, other stuff, whatever it is, but music is very special to empaths. And one of the reasons why it's special, it's because music in general has a very high energetic vibration. That's why our souls connect to certain symphonies or certain music, certain beats, certain tones. There are tones that can switch our moods, like if we're down and depressed, there's a certain melody or a song that we like and we listen to it and it uplifts our spirit. Or there could be, music melodies that could be downers, if you're like too hyper and you want to calm down a little bit. So you listen to, very specific music. Music has its own energetic vibrational wave. And with that energetic vibrational wave, it brings us, up, down, or balanced according to what our energetic field is. So listening to music is a good one. Tip number 5, meditation. Meditate. Now, meditate doesn't have to be 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long, because some of us, our days get so busy and so hectic, we don't got time for this. So when we have that split 10-second window where we can meditate, I literally picture myself like, those sand timer clocks. I don't know what they're called. It's like, but it goes down, then you flip it and it gets like refilled. So sometimes when I need to do like a quick detox, I imagine myself as if I'm like that sand time thingy bubbles, and I'm just draining myself out, flipping myself over, handing myself over to Hashem, and Hashem filling me up with light. It's literally, it goes so quick for me, even just like a visual or, 10 seconds, boom, it's done. I'm like, whew, okay. Got my batteries energized a little bit longer so I can last at least until bedtime. So meditating is very important, keeps us balanced. And all of these tips, by the way, these are tips that we should be teaching our children as well. Ugh, and number 6 is my favorite, except for today. Today it was not my favorite, but number 6 is my favorite. Take power naps. Hourglass. Thank you. Thank you, Leah. So yeah, I do the hourglass meditation. It's like 10-15 seconds and boof, I'm re-energized. Number 6, taking power naps.
I especially like the meditating one. Once I hopped onto that was a game changer for me. And the weird thing is I have hopped onto it so well. There are moments where I've caught myself wide awake, eyes open, and I'm doing it. So I'm meditating with my eyes open, which is something I never thought I'd be able to do. But more importantly, when I'm out and about, I recognize other meditators, because there's something about us that when somebody meditates often, if you do that, you recognize it in other people. I don't know why that is, but it's plain as day.
Yep. I also meditate with my eyes open sometimes. Sometimes like I could get a phone call, while I'm driving, and one of my clients can be asking me to do a real quick energy check. And I'm driving and I'm zoned out. Now,
Oh, wow.
It sounds scary, but the thing is, it's like my eyes are on the road. I'm very well aware and have even super heightened awareness.
Yeah,
Everything that's going on around me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I feel like I'm astral projecting into my client's home and checking her house at the same time.
I hear it. That's kind of like what happens to me. It's an odd sense of like a heightened awareness.
Yeah. It's super heightened that it like sometimes it feels weird. Like I literally feel like I'm a robot and like I'm on autopilot right now and I'm doing two different things in two different places at one time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for some people, number 6 is a very useful tool. Like I said, most of the time it's one of my favorites, but today it was not. Taking power naps. We get depleted so easily and so fast. And sometimes it could be with things that are very random. But these power naps, we could be closing our eyes for 15, 20 minutes. And we get energized as if we got a full 8 hours of sleep. Have any of you had a power nap to the point where like you literally closed your eyes 15, 20 minutes and then you got up as if you were like just woken up and it's a brand new day, all energized and have energy to like not just continue throughout the night, but like as if you got a full 8 hours of sleep? I know that's happened to me quite a number of times. Has anyone managed to enjoy power naps like that or no?
No, it's been a long time, I think, since I had one like that. When I have a power nap, I wake up, I think like I'm running late for something. I wake up in a panic, like going, what? Cause dreams or whatever, cause I'll be out and then I'll wake up and I'll either be freaking out or thinking I missed something, and then I'll have to remind myself, oh wait, I don't have anything to do or something, or I'm just really tired. So I'm like, I need longer than a power nap. I just need a full on go to bed. So, but it's been a while since I had one like what you're describing. A long time. That's like a cat to me, man. They take them naps, they wake up, they're good. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of times there it's such a huge necessity. Such a huge necessity. The amount of times I come home and I knock out on the couch. I tell my daughter, I'm like, wake me up in like 15, 20 minutes. She's like, is that going to be enough for you? I'm like, yeah. I knock out stone cold 15, 20 minutes. I wake up. I have so much energy. Like I felt like as if I got a really full 8 hours sleep within a period of 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would like that. That I haven't had one of those in a while though. No. When I wake up, I'm literally like, I don't want to. But yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, and Leah would, if Leah were to, if your daughter were to ask me the same thing, I would probably answer like this: nope, no, it won't. But that's the max I can do today.
Ay. All right. So number 7, setting the healthy boundaries. Knowing when to say no to unreasonable requests and bad behavior. Now, unreasonable request is whatever is according to your definition, not what is according to the other person's definition. Because something could be completely normal for the other person, but for you, it's unreasonable. If you consider it unreasonable, then it's a no. No, 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 no. And it is what it is. And people have to learn to deal with it. Usually the people that get upset by your boundaries, they're usually the reasons you got to put them down in the first place. So setting boundaries, very important. Tip number 8. Don't be a helicopter parent or don't be a helicopter spouse. And this thing, I can literally, if we were allowed to swear, I would, but we're not allowed to, but you guys get the point. With both of my kids, I'm not a helicopter parent. I raised them with, understanding that every person, almost no matter what their age is, they are responsible for their own decisions. And they have to accept accountability for whatever consequence or action comes afterwards. And I do with my daughter, I don't repeat myself. Sometimes I have to repeat myself with my son, but slowly he gets it. He's learning. He's learning also meditations. He's learning also grounding. He's learning like what's worth it to get upset on, what's not worth it to get upset on. All these tools that I've learned how to deal with myself and my sensitivities, I'm teaching to my kids. My daughter handles it a lot easier than my son, but my son is striding in the right direction. So not being a helicopter parent really eases up a lot of things. Now, because we're very highly intuitive in general, like as empathic people, we have a tendency to pick up on what our kids are feeling and thinking. Jen, you know how many times I got into my daughter's brain and she was like, can you get out of my brain? Can you get out of my head?
Yep.
Yeah, so sometimes to the point where she would like say something or think of something or go through something, and I'm just like looking at her and I'm just like, I could read you and I could tell exactly what's going on behind that like grin or behind that smile. And she gets so annoyed, but I just leave it. I don't dig into it. I don't ask questions. She wants to come up and tell me about it. She can come up and tell me about it. But yeah, not being a helicopter parent, it's also very healthy for the child because they get raised more with a certain type of self-confidence, that we respect their space, that we respect their, I guess you could say, decision making. And even if they make a bad decision and they got to go through the consequence, we're still going to love them. We're still going to be there for them. Like we can hold their hand, but not hold their hand. And like, hey, I'm going to be here cheering you on when you get to the finish line after, you're done going through X, Y, and Z. But yeah, not being a helicopter parent is very, very, very helpful in many, many, many ways. Let's see. Yes.
So it says here, identify which emotions belong to you and responsible for them, allowing your children to identify their own feelings. So not so much, how do you allow like when children are a certain age, they don't even know. Like, so if you're not like telling them what they're feeling, in essence, will they still know that they're angry or they're sad or they're depressed or like, because I mean, my parents grew up, they never pinpointed anything. So I can't even tell you half the time how I'm feeling. So with my kids, I try to sit there and walk them through it. Like, I'm like, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad? Just help them pinpoint it, because
Right.
if they don't even know themselves what they're actually feeling, how would they identify it?
Yeah, that you're 100% correct. Like if your kids are young and they don't understand, the difference between being angry or being hurt or, being sad or, being angry, we have to tell them what's the difference between each and every single emotion.
Okay.
Because that's how they learn. But when they experience something, when they experience like a sadness, it's very important for us to help them not brush off the emotion, but to be able to feel the emotion. They don't have to take it in. They don't have to like absorb it as if it's their own, to
Right.
breathe through the emotion understand the situation with what's going on and focus on a solution, not what the problem was, because that's already in the past. Focusing on past issues doesn't help. Focus on the solution. So let's say, for example, a child goes through bullying in school, right, with another student, and God forbid your child was made fun of, whatever, the child gets, really hurt and they're really sad and they're angry and they're frustrated. So we first of all help identify, the emotion. When we identify the emotion, we tell the child, okay, now that we know that this is the problem, let's work on the solution. What do you think the solution will be? Have your child try to come up with the ideas if they're old enough. If not, you can put suggestions on the table. Like, for example, you can ignore the kid and just walk away, or you can go up to a teacher and tell them what's going on, or you can come and tell me what's going on and I'll talk to the kids. Like, when you teach them to focus on solutions instead of the problem, you're already building their mindset to shift in a positive direction at such a young age that they will become, I guess you could say, problem solvers when they grow older, not solving everybody else's problems, but like they will look for solutions. They become more positive people. Their energetic vibration already gets raised a couple of notches because they don't focus and dwell on issues. They focus on solutions. Like, for example, there's a phrase that's problem solver. I call it solution finder. It's the same thing, but solution finder is more positive than a problem solver. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, that's really good. I like that.
Good. Now for number 9, centering our own energy. Our energy affects our kids. If we're agitated, grumpy, our kids feel it. And the last thing you would want is for your kid to say, is it because of me? And yes, that even applies to a spouse. So we have to make sure that as much as we can, now we're not perfect, we're not angels, we're not meant to be angels. We have to try to be, we have the potential to be just like them, but we're not. So we have to do everything that we can in order to keep ourselves centered. And if you feel that you're going off your rocker for a bit, that's okay. You can get off your rocker. You can throw a little tantrum, breathe, get back on your saddle. But don't stay in the tantrum. Number 10, I still have to figure out how this, it might apply to, some of you, but I know that this one doesn't really apply to me. At least I don't think so. I haven't really kept note of it. But number 10 is watch what you eat. Empaths are prone to hypoglycemia. So we benefit a lot from protein meals. No wonder I like meat. That makes perfect sense now. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Join the club.
Oh, with me, meat is like very weird. Like, how people love certain and they crave, certain foods. With me and meat, it's just like, it's very strange. I'm telling you,
It's odd for girls to have a thing about meat. It's a very masculine thing.
Yeah.
I never realized that. Like, I could eat steak every day. I'd be happy as a clam.
And the worst thing is, like, when my husband does a barbecue and I have that big fat steak on my plate and I take the first bite, I swear it's like I'm getting an adrenaline rush.
I hear.
I'm sorry.
What was the thing about meat? I feel like I missed something here.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second. What? No.
You could take it off my phone. Just put it on the computer. It's
Ask Dad. I'm in the middle of my class right now. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying, I feel like I missed something with when we talked about a topic of meat.
Yeah, it was saying that we need our protein.
There's so many ways to get protein. We can get it from beans. We can get it from like so many other things. I'm not a big meat person.
I am.
And neither is like Raiden either. Like, I mean, we'll like chicken or whatever. We're not big meat people. I find proteins and other ways to get it. And I don't know.
Protein,
Like-
hey, protein is protein, right?
Right. I just find like for me and with Rainen or whatever, we'll have meat like every now and then, you know, like burgers or whatever, but we get really sick. It upsets our tummies.
Okay.
Like, so kind of like, I don't know. I'm just like, but wait, protein? And there's so many other things to get protein.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, whatever feeds your fix.
Yeah, that's a lot of things. You know, just not the red meat variety, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just red meat, you know what I mean? That's it. Give me chicken, turkey, whatever. We're okay, just not a whole lot of it.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, some people are like this, some people are like this. So skipping meals actually, it says over here, makes us more susceptible to exhaustion, anxiety, and sensory overload. I gotta try. I really have to try this. Like, who wants to be my accountability buddy that I'm gonna eat like 3 meals a day and, you know, watch what I eat?
I can
Listen
try
here.
if you're there for me.
Listen
Awesome.
here, I eat like a flippin' 4-year-old. If you, I'm notoriously non-compliant with 3 meals a day.
Yeah, usually I only have 1 meal a day, sometimes if any. I usually
Same.
just snack on some stuff.
Same, coffee all day long. All flippin' day. It doesn't faze me. I can drink it 15 minutes before bed, sleep sound as anything.
Yeah, same thing with me. So yeah, I guess like with food, it affects us in a lot of ways, but I'm gonna try to see if I can cut down on my sugar. It causes mood swings. Yeah, it does cause mood swings. I get in a better mood with sugar. Yeah, but the skipping meals part and the protein, that was cool. Now, the last 2 tips, number 11, decompress through exercise. Movement melts stress away and relaxes us. It gets our endorphins, the body's natural painkillers flowing, and decreases the stress hormones. Has anyone ever tried or noticed that when they exercise, that they feel less stressed out? I personally have not tried that, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys.
My method of exercise, which I have to admit I haven't done in a very long time, used to be lifting weights. I would definitely say it did. It definitely did. And actually, it's something that I miss, and I would do anything to get back in the gym to do it. But I have a bum knee, thanks to a running injury. So I can't get in there and do it because the first thing I'd want to do are squats, and that would make my knee extremely unhappy. but I miss it.
I hear you. Ay, ay. Give me 1 second, you guys. All right, where was I?
We're talking about exercise and its effect on mood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something that I also need to incorporate and test out. That's why I'm also happy that we're, relearning and learning and learning and learning. We all need to be accountable for one another. And there's stuff here that I've never tried that I'm sure that there's stuff in this book that you guys haven't done or haven't tried, and hopefully you guys are going to. And let's all keep track of how, we feel after we incorporate all of these tips and tricks.
You know what? That's so true, but people are so stunningly busy. Who has time? We only have 24 hours in a day. You know what I mean? Like, by the time you finish working or whatever it is that you're doing during the day that occupies you, and if you have kids at home, who's got time?
Yeah.
It's a struggle. It really is, especially if you have something that you would really, really like to do. But then again, if you feel that strongly about it, then you make the time.
100%. We make it. So the last tip, number 12, is just have fun. Have fun with your kids, have fun with your spouse, have fun with yourself, do things that you enjoy. We release a lot of stress by having fun. Hold on. Shoshana wrote something. I just want to see what she wrote real quick. It's part of self-care. We need to make time. Yes, 100%. Yep. Now, with these 12 tips that I have gone over, does anyone have questions, or would they like to add anything to what we were just discussing?
I would like to say that I wish that I had known this, 25 years ago or 35 years ago, because my youngest just turned 30 on July 5th, and she was a yes to all 12.
Oh, wow.
She's definitely full blown. And I mean, she is so in touch with nature that she used to find wild kittens in the neighborhood and have them tamed in a couple of days. And I actually used to get paid to tame wild kittens, feral kittens, so that they could get fixed and get healthy and then get adopted. Yeah. So I wish I'd known these things, but I'm gonna buy the book. Hopefully you can get the book and have it shipped to the UK, because she needs this book really bad. It would help her tremendously.
That's amazing. And yeah, I think this and the codependent books, I think those two are so very important, fundamental, and crucial to the foundation of a person's rebuilding of self-identity. Yeah, it's good. Like, it would be a good idea if you get her the book. Very good idea. Who else would like to add their input on the 12 tips, or have any questions on how to utilize some of the 12 tips? Nobody? Really? No questions? Do I need to call on someone? Okay. Now, the next thing that we're gonna go over is the effect of early trauma on adult sensitivity. Childhood neglect and mistreatment affects the sensitivity of children growing up, and especially us as adults. Children that have experienced like early childhood emotional or physical trauma, it wore down their defenses and made them more sensitive throughout their lives. Or it has the exact opposite effect, which is numbing. It made the child numb. An angry environment can especially impact a sensitive child. Too much yelling, too much unstableness, all of that affects our kids. It affects people in general, period. So she has a little bit of an affirmation, which is it's a part of the serenity prayer, but she kind of switched the words around a little bit. So it goes like this. I'm going to add the word Hashem. Hashem, please grant me the serenity to accept the parents that I cannot change. That's a strong one. That hits home.
That is a strong one. Wow. I am right there with you, girlfriend. Right there with you.
When we say this, on a daily basis, and we try to really internalize it, which is Hashem, please grant me the serenity to accept the parents that I cannot change. Implementing this on a daily basis protects us from harboring toxic resentments and pain from your upbringing. Now, again, we discussed this also with the codependency. We can forgive, we can forget, we can accept, our parents, our spouse, our siblings, for the way they are. All that's fine and dandy. That does not mean that we have to reopen the door. If the other people are still in a toxic whirlwind, and if you feel you're not strong enough to withstand that, if you feel like you're not strong enough with your boundaries, doing this is okay. Not everyone is strong enough to be able to withstand that. It's very hard. Very, very, very hard. And remember, I always mention we're not allowed to lose ourselves in the process. So if you guys can write the serenity prayer down. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Hashem, please grant me the serenity to accept the parents that I cannot change. You can also apply this with siblings, with kids, aunts, uncles, spouses, whichever.
Rishka, say it one more time.
With pleasure. Hashem, please grant me the serenity to accept the parents that I cannot change.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, now, since I went over the basic tips, the 12 tips for us being an empath, you know, like as parents, she mentions over here quite a number of tips for nurturing empathic children. So I'm gonna try to see what time is it. Okay, we still have some time. Okay. So she has 20 tips for nurturing empathic children. This is how we deal with our kids. Tip number 1, encourage your child's sensitivities and intuition. So invite your child to speak openly about their abilities to you and to others who are supportive. In my humble opinion, it should be in the private circle. Number 2, honor your child's feelings. I always say something like this: feelings are not facts. You know, how they feel, they're entitled to feel however they want to feel. You know, if they are angry or upset about something, it's just, it doesn't make it a fact. It doesn't make it, you know, anything that's, you know, stand in concrete. Feelings are feelings. And when a child feels that his parent doesn't honor their feelings, they feel neglected. So it's important to honor your children's feelings, honestly, no matter what age. Number 3, educate family members and teachers about your empath child. I think that there's a lot of fine lines with this. Not everybody understands. Family might have better understanding than teachers, but a lot of teachers, you know, or a lot of people in the educational field don't really understand this or get this. And if you try to explain it to them, they're going to think you're nuts. But the main point of educate family members and teachers about your empathic child, don't allow others to judge or criticize your child. Number 4, trust your intuition. Don't let anyone make you second guess yourself. Number 5, help your child recognize when they've absorbed other people's emotions. Number 6, be an emotional stabilizer. Empath children tend to take on their parents' anxiety and want to make things better for them. So try to stay steady in your emotions and avoid expressing excessive anxiety around them. Be aware that highly empathic children can mirror your emotions as well, and the symptoms, and empathic parents can do the same with their kids. Number 7, don't argue in front of your child or anywhere they could overhear. Number 8, encourage your child to take alone time and enjoy that quiet time to be creative. Empathic children, they thrive on free and unstructured time, meaning we're at our best at that. So we have to motivate them to get creative. Number 9, Teach your child breathing and meditation exercises. It could be simple ones too. Number 10, encourage your child to express their dreams. Number 11, help your child practice shielding around energy vampires, people that drain. I'm gonna skip number 12 because I don't believe it's relevant. But number 13, reduce exposure to stimulating situations. Number 14, create downtime before your child goes to sleep. Number 15, limit your child's intake of processed food, carbohydrates, and sugar. Number 16, intervene before tantrums. If you see that your child is on the verge of a tantrum, try to, what's the word? Try to shift gears and help them focus on something else. Number 17, use aromatherapy with essential oils. And one of the most relaxing ones is lavender. My son loves lavender. But yeah, aromatherapy, breathing in these things is awesome. Or pets, you know, number 18 is pet therapy, getting a pet. Pets are grounding and they offer children unconditional love, stated in the book. But they're very good for empathic children, pets. 19, use gemstones. Try giving your child a quartz or a pink or black tourmaline crystal to hold. These can feel secure in the hand while they are grounding and calming. Number 20, help your child turn the dial down on stress. And that's the end of the tips. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or ask any questions
I
regarding
have a
this?
question.
Yeah.
For the gemstones, I guess just because you know who we are, as a Torah perspective, is that something like it's not? I don't want to use the word voodoo, but I don't know another word. But how does that relate? As I know it's Earth and Hashem and nature, blah blah blah. But like passing energy to, like, my husband would just think I'm off my rocker if I were to be like, here, hold a course. So I mean, how would I like explain that? If that would be like it's legit, and you know.
I could give you a whole bunch of sources that says it's absolutely legit. Number one, Avraham Avinu used gemstones in order to heal. You have the 12 gemstones of the like on the Kohan breastplate. Each one of those gemstones was, you know, from a tribe, and each one of those had its healing property, which was also associated with the tribe.
Good, I like this. Yeah, that's what he needs. You know.
Okay, see?
Yeah, oh, that's pretty.
My son also has, same with my daughter.
Okay.
It's like, it's literally, it's like a tool, you know, is it the same exact thing as someone taking rosemary, you know, from a rosemary bush, taking the, boiling it, you know, or using the aromatherapy for it, you know, as medicinal purposes. It's the same exact thing.
Okay.
You know, you just need to know how to use it in the right way. There's a right and wrong way to use it.
Right.
Like if someone, you know, say, like with the rosemary, for example, if someone does the tincture, you know, too strong, it could actually be poisonous. You know, you have to know how to use them.
Mhm.
But it is allowed 100%.
Okay.
And it's in the-
Awesome. I like that. Thank you.
Rivka, could you, I'm not even sure what my question is. Could you maybe, when you put the notes together, put some information in there about what gems do what? And I'm kind of curious where you get yours.
Bezrat Hashem, God willing, I will make a course on it.
That would be really cool because it's actually something that I've been interested and curious about for a little while, and I just haven't had like the right vehicle to bring it up. This kind of seems like the perfect place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm going to be creating, probably after the holidays, I'm going to start sitting down on it, and I'm going to create a course of crystal therapy, crystal healing, you know, in its own section. I think I'm going to go like even deeper than introductory and possibly, you know, offer certification.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. So does anyone have any other questions before we move on? No. Okay. So I'm going to go over real quick tips and tricks to prevent burnout and fatigue when it comes to empaths and work. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of extraordinary perceptions, either that or I'm just going to do a voice record and I'm going to put it up on the group because I could see that I don't have much time left. Okay, so for those that are in work environments, which is very, very, very important, how do we prevent burnout and fatigue at work? Well, we already know how to deal with energy vampires. We already know how to deal with narcissistic people. Now, what's more above and beyond that? Let's take a look. So the first tip, plan breaks. It says over here, take regular 5-minute breaks to rest, meditate, or enjoy a walk between appointments. I'm sure not all of us can take a 5-minute break, you know, quite a few times throughout our shift. But plan your breaks. Having that timeout is very important. If your break is supposed to be at 9:30, I'm just throwing something out there, 9:30. Your boss comes to you at 9:29. Can you do this, please? Can you do this, please? Yeah, sure, when I get back from my break. Don't decrease your break time because of that. Now, some people are going to ask me, but what if I lose my job? This, that. What those people need to understand is that when you, for the first time, let that boundary be overstepped, and you let your boss come to you at 9, like a minute before your break starts, and you do that, they're going to do it again and again until you're going to have no break at all. It's very important boundary setting. Some people might say, oh, but I might get fired. If you are going to be on the verge of getting fired from your job, this is just how I look at it. Yeah, you do not have to follow this advice. You don't have to. But if your boss wants to fire you for being like firm on your brakes, you know, because you really need them, that place is not for you. A boss that respects his employees, respects his employees. One and done. There's many other ways and options for an employee to prove to be able to go above and beyond. That doesn't have to be during that mandatory emotional mental stability break. You guys understand what I'm saying? Number 2, don't overwork yourself. For those that are self-employed, don't overbook yourself. You know what you're able to do and don't stretch your limits. Number 3, eat well. Number 4, create your workspace in a way that's relaxing and serene for you. Number 5, practice deep breathing regularly. Number 6, fill your office or workspace with heart energy. Now, what does it mean over here by heart energy? Basically, you pay attention to love, happiness, and joy that's located in your heart energy point. And you take it out of your internal space. You put it in your external space. So you're surrounded by it. Kind of like you're in your own bubble of self-love when you're in your workspace. Number 7, set clear boundaries at work. Firmly and kindly say no to the energy vampires in your workspace and protect your time so you are not drained. Number 8, shield yourself. Sometimes going into work is like going in a battle. You got to prepare yourself. You don't know what the day's going to bring. You don't know who's going to be coming at you, who's going to be requesting things from you from, you know, the moment you come in till the moment you leave. So shield yourself. Be prepared. Number 9, detoxify in water. Take Epsom salt baths or showers after a long day to wash away the stress and pain you might have absorbed. And number 10, have fun outside of work. Always make time for playtime. All right. All right, I wanted to go over the empath, intuition, and perception, but I'm not going to have time to do that today. So I'm going to see if I can do that on a voice note and put it up in the group in about like within 24 to 48 hours, because I also have to upload this video and whatnot. But let me go ahead and stop the recording.